manager at a VC-backed startup and former software engineer and startup founder. I talk about all those type of things, tech and career stuff here on this channel. So if y'all enjoy that type of content, hit subscribe. And yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it on this one. So I have noticed that a lot of founders today that I meet, especially early stage and solo founders, a lot of times are super hyper focused on raising money. Specifically raising money from outside investors, venture capital, angel investors, or whoever. And everything they do and every decision they make is sort of geared towards this end goal of raising money. And I just I find it interesting in 2024, with the examples that we've seen of like things like WeWork and all these other really huge startups that typically don't make money, or aren't profitable, and just watching them collapse or like lose their valuation, be sold off to other competitor companies, that a lot of early stage founders who are like pre-revenue founders still are focused on like raising money, kind of like we're still in the 20 like early 2010s, or even before then, the early 2000s or something, when it was just very popular to have an idea for an app or something that hit the app store, and you get funding for just having a great idea and really no traction, no customers, no execution, no users or anything like that. And so in this video I just want to talk about, for solo founders, why, or early stage founders, why raising money should not be the focus of what you're doing in your business. Because a lot of times people sign up to be an entrepreneur because they don't want to have a boss or a job, right? Which is exactly what raising money does, essentially. Like, it doesn't matter if it's your company and your idea that you raise money for. The minute you take someone else's money, they have a say. They have what is it? They have their own motives that they're trying to get out of this company, or out of the idea, out of this team, or whatever. And so it's not just this end goal of raising money and then riding off into the sunset, right? Like, a lot of times the real stress is going to kick in once you raise money, and have someone pretty much holding expectations, over your head, and really holding you accountable to the decisions that you're making. So essentially you are giving yourself a boss, right? Like, I know it sounds great to say I raised X number of dollars or X millions of dollars, but you're essentially giving somebody else saying power, doing power in your company, who could potentially remove you, fire you, sell the company, or fold the company, whatever they want to do, depending on how much equity they have, how much say they have in the company, right? You're giving up that ability to kind of like chart your own path and be your own boss and make all the key decisions and kind of do what you want. And for some people that might be the best case scenario, right? Like, let's say you have an investor or somebody looking to do a partnership with you, who is actually down to come in and help you scale the business by giving you resources, or like connecting you to people that they know in their network, or again, like I said, partnerships, so they can connect you in ways that can expand your distribution, for your product or your service, or whatever. Marketing could be another thing. So there's a lot of reasons why, in some cases it might be good to partner with somebody or to take on an investment. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people that I see are either very, very early revenue stage, or not even. They're still pre-revenue idea stage, and they're still focusing on like, what do I need to do in order to raise money, which I think is just kind of the wrong way of thinking about it, especially in the early stages, as a founder. So the main thing you want to be focused on, more so than in raising money, but I would even say if you want to raise money, the main thing you should be focusing on is customers, paying customers for your product or your service. And I know that might sound obvious, but a lot of people try to skip that step of really n- not only getting paying customers, but honing in on that ideal customer profile. Who is that customer? And making sure that they nurture that relationship with the customer, right? Like, so meeting those customers where they are, marketing specifically to those customers, building successful funnels that guide people into their product easily, you know, systems that make it very easy for people to, not only discover you, but to sign up and get started and also pay you. Making that a fluid, seamless experience that touches on the right pain points for your ideal customers. Also marketing to them, right? So finding where they are, where they hang out, and like I said, creating that content that they're going to find valuable, or putting content in front of them that they'll find valuable. So that's an ad or social media marketing or whatever, just finding a way to reach them and engage with them in a way that builds some brand credibility, gets your product or service out there in front of them, and just gives you an opportunity to be discovered by the people that you're trying to reach, right? And that in itself is such a huge part that of finding product market fit for early stage founders. And it's not easy. It's really not easy. But the thing is, that's where the money's going to come from. And not only that, but it's also going to make or attract investors toward your business more, right? You having a very good understanding of your ideal customer and their wants, their needs, where they are, how you reach them, what problems they're experiencing, and how you really solve it. That is going to be more attractive to investors, as well as, of course, like recurring revenue, whether that's monthly, annual, however it goes. Just having something to show that you have validated that people will actually pay for your product or service. um, all of those things are much, much, much more important than just simply trying to raise money early on, especially when you don't have a vision for your product or your service and what it's supposed to be and how you're going to scale it, and what you're going to, of course, you don't have to have all of this figured out right up front right away, but still having some idea of what direction you want to go down and what that long-term plan looks like is going to be helpful in even trying to get someone to buy into your vision for your product. So people aren't going to invest in necessarily what your product is today, but what it can be and what your vision for it is. And another thing that stuck with me a lot, when I was in the startup world and, like previously in my first venture, was, people invest in people, not ideas. So the competency and the belief that other people have in you and your team as a founder, or maybe you are the entire team, but your ability to produce the things that people are going to want to see if they're going to ever partner with you, join your team, invest in you, or whatever, it's going to take time and mistakes to really figure that out and hone in on those things, so that you can capitalize on that when you get ready to go raise money or tell your story, or even just grow your team. So I just wanted to, in this video, talk about that a little bit because I see so many people who really just focus so much and spend so much of their time on like pitch decks and pitch competitions, and you know going like applying for different competitions where they can go pitch and try to win money and get investors and join these accelerators and go to this program. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying those things aren't helpful, but you know your traction and your customer base is at the end of the day like what this whole thing is about. And starting a business, you're starting a business to solve a problem, and that problem obviously affects a certain group of people more than others. And so that is who you're trying to find and what you're trying to figure out, and you're trying to get really good at finding those people and getting them to um, interact with your product, or discover your product and then pay you for it. And that entire process should be, in my opinion, like once you're done with like validating your idea and then product development or whatever, if it's a service, getting it ready to go to the market. And then really that's the key thing, is really just mastering that ideal customer profile and figuring out who those people are, getting them in the door of your product or service and getting them to become customers. That is going to end up being the most valuable thing that you can spend your time doing as an early stage founder, especially when compared to like pitch competitions, pitching, trying to find investors, cold outreach, trying to just get on investor radars and all that. Like that energy could be much more well spent somewhere else. And I promise you, the more you have product market fit, you have paying customers, monthly recurring revenue, then that entire conversation of finding your investors and getting them interested in your company is going to be so much more easy when you can just tell a clear, transparent narrative about what problem you solve, who you solve it for, and how you make money. that is going to help you out much, much more than stressing out over raising money. So that's my 2 cents on this one, y'all. I just wanted to, just give my thoughts on that. So let me know what your experience is and what you think about some of the things I just said. I just kind of said a lot. So, if you're a founder, did you raise money? Is that something that you're trying to do right now? What are your fundraising goals? And then also why? Like, why do you want to raise money? That's another big question that I think a lot of people don't necessarily always have an answer to. That they know they want to raise money, and it's usually a pretty large amount, but they don't necessarily know what they plan to do with that money in order to scale the company. So yeah, let me know down in the comment section below. Let's talk about it. And again, make sure to check out the description box below for all my resources and links. And I will catch y'all in the next video. All right, peace.